following is a presentation of Main Street Media, your source for news, sports, and information on Main Street in Middle Tennessee.
Sounds 30 years of the best sports talk in Middle Tennessee, featuring Tennessee Radio Hall of Famer George Plaster, Tennessee Sports Hall of Fame coach Watson Brown, and Young Guns Billy Derrick and Michael Sindrick. And now, here's your host, George Plaster.
Hello again, everybody. Welcome in. It is a beautiful Friday afternoon in Nashville, Tennessee. Here's the good news. It's Friday afternoon, which means the weekend is just about here, and it's going to be a great football weekend. When we call roll, Watson Brown has the day off, so I'll turn to the left. Billy, how are you today?
George, I'm great today. We've got a big weekend of football.
Sure do.
I feel like every time for college, when we expect a bad weekend, it turns into a fun weekend. So,
I think, look, there are only 14 of them. I think that's the number each year.
Mm-hmm.
And they are to be, what's the word I'm looking for? You got to respect them. They're all good because there are enough games. Something's going to pop each weekend on the college level that it will get your attention.
There might be another App State or another Georgia Southern.
You never know.
You really never know.
You never know, which makes the Plaster bet of the day
even more interesting.
Really rough, man. Okay, let's do what we do at the start of every show and get to our daily Titans update. We say hello to one Terry McCormick. Terry, how are you?
I'm doing well, George. How are you guys?
Good. Red appears to be the color today.
Yes, it does.
Maybe in honor of the Kansas City Chiefs. Boy, they pulled one out of there. You know what? Terry,
that game really turned on the 99-yard interception return because it looked like for all the world that the Chargers were going to go in and take control of that game, and then all of a sudden 99 yards the other way.
So it's a long football weekend, and the Titans don't play until Monday night in Buffalo. How do you think they try to corral Josh Allen? What's the strategy?
I think it's something that you kind of hit on the other day when you asked a question about Josh Allen. I think you have to you want to sack him, but you also have to be disciplined in your rushes, and you can't let him get outside the pocket and roll to his right and find Stephon Diggs or some of these other targets like Dawson Knox, the Nashville resident. You can't let him do those sorts of things that he wants to do on a consistent basis. So I think the Titans want to try and contain him, keep him in the pocket, and not let him get outside where he's a dual threat.
Terry, I know you've been up there a few times. I was thinking about this on the drive in today. Some of the Titans Buffalo games have been incredible. Last year has the weird ending down on the goal line. Of course, we have the Music City Miracle, but even going back to the Houston Oilers where they blew the big playoff lead, this series has had some weird stuff.
It really has. And as little as you may think about it, it's kind of become a rivalry of late again between the Titans and the Bills because this is the fifth year in a row that they have played each other. And, that's very unusual for two teams that are not in the same division. So there's been a lot of familiarity. And then you add to the fact that Roger Saffold, David Quessenberry, Daquan Jones, and Bobby Hart, who spent a short time here last year, are all members of the Bills now.
So, one of the things I worry about, I think the Titans are going to play better than they did against the Giants. They don't really have a lot of choice. But Terry, they could play considerably better and not win.
Yeah, they could play a lot better and still not win. This is a situation where, the Titans have got to guard against, making mistakes. They don't want to start the year 0-2, but, they gave that game away last week against the Giants. And so now their backs are against the wall. The good thing is, if you're a Titans fan, you know that this team has been resilient under Mike Vrabel. They've often, when they've had a disappointing loss, they've been able to come back and, you know, rally the troops, so to speak, for the next game and be able to pull out improbable wins. Remember, last year they did it a couple of times. They did it against the Seattle Seahawks when they went out there after having been blown out by the Arizona Cardinals in week 1. And then later on in the year, nobody gave them a shot on Monday Night Football, or Sunday Night Football, I should say, against the Rams right after Derrick Henry got hurt. And then they had the bye week, and then they came out to LA and they looked maybe as good as they did all season long in whipping the eventual Super Bowl champion Los Angeles Rams.
Don't you think when all is said and done that what you just said is Mike Vrabel's biggest strength as a coach, that when the chips look as bad as they could possibly look, that he seems to turn the tables upside down?
Yeah, it really does. To take you're talking about the chips are down. When his stack of chips is low, that's when he seems to come up with a pair of aces and win a hand that maybe you didn't expect him to win. So, Mike Vrabel certainly knows how to get people's attention and get them to focus when the time comes to really, when they're desperate for a win. He seems to get the best out of this team.
Terry, we'll do this again on Monday before they kick it off. It's a 6:15 kickoff, Nashville time, Monday night in Buffalo. Thanks as always for the visit.
All right. Have a good weekend, George.
Okay, that's Terry McCormick. He leads us off with his daily Titans update. Billy, what do we got in the update?
George, let's start with the story. The Sarver story continues. This saga with Robert Sarver, Sun's minority owner, has come out and called on Robert Sarver to resign, which, I don't know that too many people are surprised about at this point, but, Sarver is in a little bit of trouble right now.
Oh, I think he's in deep you-know-what. First of all, I don't think he's going to be able to stick around. But I think one of the things that's going to happen, Billy, in the aftermath of this is that the NFL is going to catch a lot of crap for the fact that Daniel Snyder, his story is very similar. The accusations are very similar. And the NFL up till now has done absolutely nothing. They have put out this sham that, Snyder's wife is now running the team. I mean, give me a break. You know as well as I do that it's status quo right now in Washington. And I think this is one of the things the NFL is going to have to worry about is, okay, whether you agree with Adam Silver's punishment or not, there at least has been something. Right. May not be enough. And I still do believe Sarver is going to end up out of there because there's just too much there. But then I think the attention is going to turn to the NFL, and I think people are going to ask, why did the NBA take action while you all sit here and be namby-pamby about it? You watch for that. It's coming.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised about that. So the saga continues there with Robert Sarver. Number 2, George, Phil Mickelson is considering removing his name from Live Golf's federal antitrust lawsuit against the PGA Tour. Of course, we all know he was among 11 golfers who sued the PGA Tour back in August, alleging that they had improperly been suspended for playing in Live Golf events and that the PGA Tour was using its monopoly power to suppress competition. So
you want a gut feeling here?
Let's hear it.
Okay. Right now, Mickelson is about as persona non grata as it gets. I mean, he has become a pariah, a guy that has had all the success that he's had.
Doesn't have the pull he used to.
Yeah, I mean, at one point, he was the darling of golf galleries. Not that I'm the biggest golf fan, but Phil Mickelson was the cat daddy. And, the ovations he would get rival anybody virtually on that tour. Now, all of a sudden, he's completely fallen from grace. I don't doubt that the people advising him have said, listen,
cool it.
One way to start to get yourself back into some halfway good graces is to be the one to start the movement to end the lawsuit. I think this is a PR move designed to try to get him in a little better standing amongst the PGA golfers who I think have come to hate him. That's what I think this whole story is about, is trying to restore some level of image for Mickelson. He has lost a ton of sponsors. He's lost a lot. And obviously, it's gotten out there that his gambling situation may have led to all this. I just think this is a PR move.
Yeah, and it's sad, George. I mean, he like you said, he used to be,
the cat daddy,
the guy. I mean, he used to be the guy that you go watch, and even before Tiger, and he was kind of the Tiger before Tiger even got there, the young Phil. And now, like you said, kind of fallen from grace. It is kind of sad, but he's kind of done it to himself to an extent. So
he has, and I think those advising him have said this is the first step toward restoring.
Right. Yeah, and he should listen to him. Looks like he is.
He should.
Number 3, George, Sandy Alderson has transitioned to an advisory job, and I know you had the scoop there. So I don't.
No, not hardly. But
I still need to do some research on that.
Well, here's the deal. Sandy Alderson has been the president of the Mets now for a while, and he seemed to get a lot smarter when the new owner stepped in, when the Doubleday family sold to this guy, Steve Cohen. Cohen has deep pockets. He made it very clear at the beginning that he was going to spin the Mets into contention. And to be honest, that's what he's done. He went out and got Max Scherzer. He went out and got Francisco Lindor. The Mets are for real. At this moment, they have a 1-game lead on Atlanta. The Braves, I think, are considerably better than they were a year ago when they won it all. Last year, to me, was more they got hot at the right time. They make great trades at the deadline. I think this team is way better. And for the Mets to be ahead of them, the Mets are also for real. When you start throwing Max Scherzer and Jacob deGrom in some of these playoff series, people better look out for the Mets.
What they've done the past couple of years is really incredible with that organization. I mean, they've a few years ago, you could have called them an organization without any
kind
continuity.
Of a laughing stock. Yeah.
I mean, and all of a sudden, the hiring of Buck Showalter and Sandy Alderson, he's staying with the franchise. That's interesting there. He wants to be there. And he's 74, George.
Yeah, and he's had some health issues as well. Go back on something you said. I'm biased. Buck Showalter was a part of the first Sounds team that I ever broadcast. And so I've always rooted for Buck. Maybe not as much this year with the Mets, but I knew once he got there that a lot of the buffoonery that has gone on with that
was
team
going to stop.
Was going to stop, and it has stopped cold, and they are for real.
That was the last piece to the puzzle for them.
That's what I think.
Because slowly they kept creeping up, towards the Braves in that NL East, and they're there. They're there now.
They're there.
Yeah, they are definitely there. So Alderson staying with the Mets, but he'll be the advisory. I don't know what the title of that is, the advisory job there. George, last piece here, a couple games to touch on for tonight. Florida State and Louisville tonight, and then Air Force and Wyoming. So Florida State and Louisville, that's the ESPN game, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, let me say a little something about that. Florida State has this win at LSU. When I say at LSU in New Orleans, if you
they
think
had
that's
more, the Seminoles
they did. They bought about 30,000 tickets.
They had more people than I expected.
Yeah. Well, I think that was part of the agreement to get the game to happen. It's interesting to see what level of improvement Florida State is. For the first 3 quarters of the LSU game, they looked way better. Fourth quarter, not so much.
Mm-hmm.
This will be a really good test. Louisville, a week ago, they go to Central Florida, which has been a snake pit,
Mm-hmm.
and they played great defense in the second half, won the game. I'm curious which of the two teams has a breakout tonight. Louisville probably needs it worse, but Norvell needs it as well at Florida State. The other game, Air Force is the better team. They're about a 17-point favorite. We'll see what happens.
We'll see what happens there. George, I do like that FSU Louisville game, though. You know, you feel like whoever wins that one, that has an advantage in terms of – now, Satterfield is behind Norvell in terms of hot seat. Norvell's seat isn't as hot, but Norvell still needs this to kind of keep this rolling.
Yeah, they need to make an agreement beforehand. Let's both win the game.
It's one of those let's both win. It's one of those games.
After the break, as a lot of you know, good rivalry game tomorrow night in Murfreesboro. Tennessee State, MTSU. And when we come back, we'll talk with Tennessee State defensive coordinator Brandon Fisher. As a lot of you know, that's Jeff Fisher's son. He's done a really good job. You'll enjoy the interview. Stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
Buying or selling a home can be a very personal experience. Why not go with the team that receives nearly all of their business from referrals? Clearly a trusted name in real estate. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners has sold more than 500 homes in the last 7 years. Voted best in Sumner County multiple times. Proven to be trusted with your most personal assets. Call the Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners at 615-906-8458. The Justin Tucker team with Platinum Realty Partners, Middle Tennessee's most trusted team in realty.
I highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation because of their caring nature and attentiveness to detail.
Pre-planning your funeral now will bring you peace of mind and less stress to your loved ones. When the chaos of losing you happens, your family can honor and celebrate your life, knowing things are happening just as you wanted them to. Pre-planning determines the details of your funeral, cemetery services, and can be less expensive. We are honored to serve you and are always here for you in your time of need.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
Jody Jones Dentistry can handle all your dental needs, from the basics to cosmetic procedures. All of this in the nicest dental facility I have ever seen. Jody has done it right. They're located conveniently at 55 Music Square East, and for an appointment, it's simple. Dial 615-259-5100 and tell them Plaz sent you. When you're thinking about golf, consider Riverside Golf Links. Under new ownership, the course has improved dramatically. It's now 27 holes, complemented by a 9-hole executive course. Book a tee time now at 615-847-5074 and get ready to enjoy the beauty of golf in the Old Hickory area at Riverside Golf Links.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor-trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email eric@rockcastlewealth.com.
We are back. I like the fact that TSU and MTSU are getting together tomorrow night. And in fact, after the interview with Brandon Fisher, Billy and I are going to talk a little bit more about just this whole kind of dynamic of getting the teams inside the state to play each other more. Anyway, that's as a backdrop to tomorrow night's big game. We sat down with TSU defensive coordinator Brandon Fisher to talk rivalry football. Brandon, I guess I've always been one of these people that thought Vandy and MTSU ought to play, that Memphis and Vandy ought to play, that Memphis ought to play TSU. And all of a sudden, we've got one of these rivalry games Saturday with MTSU and Tennessee State. Are the players excited about that? Do they know each other? What's kind of the reaction to that?
Oh, they're definitely excited. I would say big picture, looking at our group, they're sitting here saying we're 0-2, and they don't believe in moral victories. They don't believe in just because we play a couple good teams. They have something to prove, and there's no better opportunity to go prove that against an FBS team right here in your backyard. So we got a group that's excited to go play and show the progress that we've made as a team and as a unit.
How do you try to figure out MTSU? Because they've been a little Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde. They were awful at James Madison, looked like they were pretty good at Colorado State. Which one's the real team?
I think anytime you have a new offensive coordinator, you're installing a new system. You can expect a little bit of that. The more they play, I think you're gonna see what that team can become. They're built to score points. That James Madison game wasn't as bad as it looked. They're one or two deep balls away from being right in it, and I would say the Colorado State game was even more lopsided than it looked. They jumped out to a 34-point lead, and that thing was a wrap. So you're going to see that group as they establish themselves, as they get comfortable with a new coordinator, new system, be able to score a lot of points down the stretch. So we know Coach Stock's a great coach. He got it right back after the opener. They're gonna win some games this year.
Let's talk about your side of the football as defensive coordinator. There were a couple of things that stood out to me in the Jackson State game. 8 tackles for losses has to mean that you're getting guys to the football quick.
Yeah, we take a lot of pride in how we play. I'm trying to be an aggressive unit, an attacking unit. We're trying, send some pressures. And, that 8 tackle for losses, we probably left 3 or 4, maybe 5 on the field. But overall, they played hard. They played physical. They played fast. It was good to see them, how we measured up against that opponent. And you guys know that Jackson State went and scored 59 the week before. We knew we had our work cut out for us, but they didn't bat an eye. They were physical. I think they were physically intimidating at times. We affected the quarterback. And, from week 1 to week 2, we took big steps. Our guys believe we can have a pretty good defense. Guys are young. I think we've got 5 or 6 guys that didn't play a snap for us last year, weren't even in here for spring ball. So kind of like MTSU, they're kind of figuring themselves out. We're figuring ourselves out right now defensively.
Brandon, in an era where you've got a lot of hurry up in college football, and especially early in the season when you've got hot weather, how many people are you trying to play that reasonably can help you at this level?
I would say, first of all, that was our biggest difference from last year to this year. Last year we had maybe 12, 13 guys we felt, were quality starters that we could rotate. We've gotten to the point now where we're too deep on our D line. We played 10 different guys last game. We've got 18 to 20 guys that, hey, guy needs a blow, he can tap his helmet and come off. So you have to be too deep at all positions. Nobody can play 80, 90 snaps a game and be able to roll guys through and not have a drop off in production, or as a coordinator, not have to call the game any differently because of who's on the field. And I would say that's our biggest difference, being able to go through an off season, being able to go through a recruiting class that we've been able to add depth and build out that, I don't want to say second half of the roster, but that 1A and 1B where, we can keep loading bullets and rolling guys through, and it's been big for other people. Didn't realize our opener, we lost 5 starters in the first quarter. We had one of our best pass rushers ejected in the first quarter against Jackson State for targeting, and just being able to, hey, next man up and let's keep rolling. It's been big for us defensively.
Okay, here's where you can teach an idiot a little bit of football.
Okay.
What's the magic number, or is there such a thing where you say, I don't want this player on defense going any more than this number of plays, or there's a law of diminishing returns?
You kind of leave it up to the individual. And it's unique. And, you may have a corner that just went back-to-back deep balls, 9 routes. And, hey, they got to trust that we got to be able to trust the player that, hey, he's going to tap his helmet and get out. Or how about your starting will linebacker who the offense just has 2 back-to-back 3-and-outs? Well, he's a wing on your punt team, and he just had to cover 2 punts. So, he should be able to play 18 to 20 snaps in a row. Oh, he's on our coverage units. He's back up on the field. We have some guys that they're just built differently that they can play 60, 70, 80 plays a game. But we just ask them to kind of police themselves, let us know when they need one, and we'll throw somebody else in there until they're ready to go, and we keep rolling.
Brandon, in your philosophies that you're using right now, there's no question about what you grew up. You grew up in a football family. You grew up with a football dad who we all know very well. How much of his stuff has influenced you?
It's cool. I mean, I'd say historically, look at our playbook and the stuff we do. We have some of our terminology is the same as, Buddy Ryan's 85 playbook. I've got my D-line coach is Clyde Simmons, who played next to Reggie White on the gangrene defense. And the terminology and the things that he's teaching are the same things that, those are the same games he was running with Reggie White. Joe Bowden started linebacker for the Titans here, played under Greg Williams in that defense. So the things that we are teaching, the foundation of what we do is from through that great 46 Bear defense. Now, we've had to put our own college flavor on it. Most notably, everything has to be shortened from a call structure, from how do you communicate with a Mike linebacker without a headset, through a signal, and get those 11 guys lined up, in 10 seconds with these hurry up offenses. But the stuff we do, historically, that 85 Bear playbook is sitting here in my office. And, it's kind of cool. Our players, we tell them what Bear is, what a Bear front is. They don't know. But historically, it's kind of cool to hang your hat on some of the stuff that was, founded in one of the greatest defenses in NFL history.
Okay, for me, the 85 Bears, that's about as dominating a group as there's ever been. Do you ever just go in a room and say, guys, if you're wondering, here's what it looked like? Do you ever do that?
Oh, absolutely. I put up their highlights. I mean, I put up Clyde Simmons highlights from that Eagles defense. I mean, it's cool. We hand out an effort contract during camp, and it's the same stupid little effort contract that those defenses signed. There was passed down to, and that Greg Williams, every defense he's ever coordinated, they signed the effort contract, and I make them sign it. And the only thing that's changed has gone from Chicago Bears to Houston Oilers to LA Rams to TSU Tigers now. So those things are cool. And I tell them, you hope they appreciate it, the historical aspect of it, but I believe it works. That group's played good defense for a long time. So.
Oh yeah. So here's a great way to end the interview. Who is Ditka?
Who is Ditka?
Yeah.
To them, they couldn't. I mean, I'm starting to feel old now because I bring up stuff. I bring up a guy, Janoris Jenkins, who we drafted in St. Louis and L.A., and the kids look at me like, this kid. Janoris was playing here last year for the Titans, and they have no clue who he is. Trying at least Aaron Donald's still in the league. So when we bring that one up as guys that we've coached and talk about prep, at least they recognize that one. But you go back to Ditka, to them, they have no clue. So let alone the Mike Singletaries and all the guys that played on that defense.
Brandon, good luck against Middle. Tell your dad I said hello and appreciate the visit.
Yeah, always good to see you.
That's Brandon Fisher, defensive coordinator at Tennessee State University. We'll go to the break. Zach Womble will join us next. This is Main Street Media Television.
We actually,
yeah.
I remember you said, you said we wanted to talk about this a little bit.
Well,
George.
let's do.
Can't lie to the people.
Let's do. And Zach, I know, is in the on deck circle, and he'll just have to wait a couple of minutes on this. I think it's really important as you try to grow football in this area with the costs that are out there for travel. It makes no sense to me that Tennessee plays an Akron instead of an MTSU or a TSU. It makes no sense to me that Vandy goes to Northern Illinois. That's an expensive charter flight when you could play Middle or Memphis or TSU. It's all about building up what's going on in this area. Am I wrong about that?
I don't think so. I think it's gone by the wayside. I feel like 5-6 years ago, you saw a lot more of those matchups. You saw those in-state matchups, but once an East Carolina knocks off an NC State, or and another in-state opponent knocks them off, they don't want to play them anymore.
Oh, I get what it's all about, but in the 90s and into the early 2000s, Middle had a run of, I want to say, 3 wins in a row against Vandy. And you know what? The sun came up the next day.
Yeah.
I mean,
it kind of scars the schools, I feel like. But
they have a case of, well, fill in the blank. But in a day and time where costs are what they are for travel, where I'm going makes so much more sense.
Yeah. No, I'm with you. And I think, why not? I think why not do it? What's going to hurt you? Yeah, maybe you lose, but it's good for the fans. It's good for both schools, both teams, coaches. It builds relationships. I think there's more positives than negatives, I think, to that.
Just think about that this weekend as you watch some of the games unfold, that it's almost like you need a summit where you get the athletic directors at Memphis, at Tennessee, at Vandy, TSU, MTSU, get them in a room and say, how do we build the game as opposed to going to Northern Illinois and hosting Akron? It just seems so simple to me. I know it's not. Scheduling is a difficult landmine that you have to work through dates, but for the good of the game, they all need to do it. Okay, now we will do what we said we will do. We'll go to the break, and then Zach Womble will join us. We'll talk another big week of high school football. This is Main Street Media Television.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit WellSkinMD.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin. It's your last chance to get a spring tune-up for summer. Complete Service Heat and Air can clean your coils, check out your motor, and make sure you have cold air on that first hot day of summer. Complete Service Heat and Air is located in White Bluff, Tennessee. We do service and repair on heating and air the right way. 24/7 service. Call us at 615-797-3997. That's 615-797-3997. Serving Cheatham, Davidson, Dixon, Hickman, Humphreys, Montgomery, and Williamson counties. Have you heard about the high levels of radon in Middle Tennessee? Radon gas is the second leading cause of lung cancer, second only to smoking, and has no color, no taste, and no smell. The only way to know if you have radon is to test for it. Duret Radon Mitigation offers testing for small and large-scale residential and commercial properties, plus mitigation services. Visit DuretRadonMitigation.com to request testing or get a free estimate for mitigation. That's DuretRadonMitigation.com. Since 1865, the First Baptist Church of Gallatin on Winchester Street has served its community by catering to the least, the last, and the lost, providing a church of welcome used by God to save the lost, transform the saved, and impact its community. As a proud multi-ethnic congregation, Pastor Derek Jackson personally welcomes you to join them in fellowship Sunday mornings at 8 in person or at 10:45 in person or online at firstbaptistgallatin.org. First Baptist Gallatin on Winchester Street, serving with open arms as a true church of welcome.
Man, it's hard to believe. What is it now? Like week number 5 of the high school football season? It is just flying. And with that in mind, we say hello to our buddy Zach Womble, Main Street Media Preps. Look at him, fresh from his Vols winning in Pittsburgh. So what was that trip like?
You know what I got to say? I've got nothing but great things to say about the people of Pittsburgh. They were very hospitable, welcoming with open arms, and it was a great time. Of course, it was wonderful to win on the field, but the people in Pittsburgh, PA, were top notch, and just made the trip so much fun, and very gracious for their hospitality this past weekend.
It has turned into a great city. The first time I ever went, it was a dirty city back in the 70s. I've got family relatives up there, and the improvements to downtown in recent years are phenomenal.
I tell you what, it's I didn't really know what to expect. I knew I was going into a blue collar town, so maybe with that comes certain things. But I tell you what, I was really taken aback by just how beautiful the city was. I was able to go over to PNC Park, catch a Pirates game, saw Pujols hit 696. Just the background that PNC Park has with the bridges and the skyscrapers. It was just really pretty. It was really beautiful. And like you said, the work that they've done downtown, it's very nice. I mean, around both Heinz Field and PNC Park, it's very, very nice. And it really, you kind of get a Nashville feel a little bit, at least, going down through the bars and the honky tonks, if you will, and, a lot of country music and a lot of good time, a lot of good feels. And it was just a really good time. Can't say enough good things about it.
Okay, while we're at it, first of all, PNC Park is one of the great underrated stadiums, baseball parks in our country. I've been twice. What was it like when Pujols hit the homer?
Well, to be honest with you, George, it was a little bit of sadness at first because when we first walked in where he hit 696, I was standing on that rotunda after getting some beverages, if you will, from
yes.
this very
Lemonade.
nice lady. Yes, exactly. And after I received my beverages, when I was receiving my beverages, they were on defense. And so I hadn't really thought twice about it. I then walked to my section in 101, which is right on the field, in right field. And sure enough, he hit 696 right to where we were standing. So at first it was a little bit of sadness because I wasn't able to put myself in a position to catch that ball. But just being able to see history was really cool. Right, George? I mean, this is a guy that at the time tied fourth in most home runs in career history. And to be able to see that in person was really special. And then the next day, of course, he breaks the record. And what I thought was really cool, and Pujols kind of lived up to this greatness that we built up. See, I'm 32 years old, and so he's pretty much been a staple of my entire life in baseball. And so you would think when 697 happens and the fan goes to give him the baseball that he's going to take that baseball. But instead, it's a Pirates fan, so he gives him two more baseballs that are signed as well and tells him to keep 697. So just a class act by Pujols, and it was just a lot of fun. And he lived up to who I thought he was.
Wow, what a trip.
Yeah, it was a great time.
Yeah, you got some great memories in this. Okay, let's run through some of by the way, before we do that, Friday Night Live tonight at 6 p.m.
Yes.
Start at 6 p.m. So make a note of that. Zach in studio.
That's right.
Pittsburgh.
That's right. I'll be in studio. I'll actually be doing some work this week. I don't know how long that'll last. I may take another vacation next week, but I'm just kidding. Yeah, I'm just kidding. But yeah, 6 to 11 tonight. We've got an army of reporters across the mid-state to bring you coverage of your favorite high school football game. And so, join myself and Billy Derrick as we comb through all the happenings in Middle Tennessee. It's going to be a lot of fun, and I look forward to another edition tonight.
Okay, let's run through the Week 5 storylines. Rivalry game tonight, Gallatin and Hendersonville. It's certainly not the first time they've ever played.
No, this is actually the 67th time these two teams will play. Gallatin holds a pretty favorable advantage, 41 wins, so I believe 23 and 1, I think, is off the top of my head, is the series history. Of course, Gallatin dominated much of Middle Tennessee during Calvin Short's years, right? And that included, I think, a 17-1 record against Hendersonville. But since 2001, the Commandos actually hold a 13-11 advantage in that series history, including playoff wins in 2001, 2010, 2011, and last year, 2021, that ended in a 28-0 victory for Hendersonville as they moved on to the third round of the playoffs. So, this rivalry is one of great respect, but is one that's hard fought, and both teams want. And depending on who you ask at each community, they might tell you that this is the most important game on their schedule. I know Gallatin played Station Camp and Hendersonville has played Beach, but when these two teams meet, everything kind of else goes out the window. This is a series that dates back all the way to the 1940s. has been played consecutively since 1967. So, just a really fun time. Casey Patrick is going to be out there tonight at Hendersonville to cover the game. I told him to enjoy it. He's actually bringing a couple buddies with him from Dixon County because they want to see some good football. And that's exactly what fans in attendance are going to get tonight is these two teams battle on the gridiron. I picked Gallatin to win. I think it could go either way. But no matter what, I think it's going to be a really good football game come 10 o'clock tonight.
If you picked a winner, you're probably safer in studio.
Exactly. That's exactly right. I've already gotten a couple of like, oh, you picked Gallatin, huh? I saw you pick Gallatin. So yeah, I guess they can't get to me if I'm in studio.
It's a lot safer.
Yeah.
And you're a lot smarter in studio.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right. So
okay, let's look at storyline number 2. You take it from there.
Yeah, who is Malachi Dowell? You're wondering who the heck is that, and a lot of Middle Tennessee fans may not know who he is because he plays for White County out in Sparta, White County. This is the guy that ran the ball 33 times for 476 yards and 7 touchdowns in their 59-54 win over Cookeville last week. I mean, that is just remarkable. And it's the second time this year that he's gone over 400. And it's actually the 4th in all time in Tennessee high school history, according to the online record. So it's a remarkable number. He's already got over 1,200 yards of total offense through 4 games, George. Through 4 games, has over 1,200 yards of total offense. We saw him run for over 400 on that vaunted Station Camp defense, and you thought, wait a minute. Was the Station Camp defense having a bad night, or is this Malachi Dowell kid for real? Well, he comes out and does it again at Cookeville last week, and just so goes to show that he is someone to keep an eye on. So Malachi Dowell out of Sparta, White County, I believe they're 4-0 on the season in their region in 5A. So, they very well could get that number 1 seed coming out of the region. Of course, they've got to play the likes of Mount Juliet and Green Hill as well. But man, Malachi Dowell, how do you not love what he's doing? Over 1,200 yards through 4 games. It's it's remarkable. So excited to see just kind of where this season takes him beyond high school football, George.
Okay, let's look at the third storyline that you've put out there. And I guess I'll ask the question, can FRA hang in this game?
I don't think they're going to be able to hang, but it's not going to be – I don't think FRA is going to get out executed. I just think Lipscomb Academy is a step above beyond everyone, not just in Tennessee, but some states out of Tennessee, whether it be in Alabama or Maryland or wherever. Lipscomb Academy is just the real deal. So what I'm looking for from FRA, of course, they bring in Justin Geisinger, who was over at Pope Prep and created a resurgence with the Knights in Hendersonville, and is kind of doing the same thing over at FRA. They've got a good running back in Ty Clark Jr. They've got a FBS commit in Mississippi State and Joe Crocker. So on the offensive line, so can Ty Clark in this offensive line create push against this Lipscomb Academy front that is shown to be one of the best in the country? And so you want to see the steps that FRA is taking in such a short time under Justin Geisinger. Can they keep it within 3 touchdowns? I think that would be a win for FRA. Obviously, they're not going to tell you that. They're going to take it whether it's a win or a loss. But I think, there are things that we are looking for outside of that program that just goes to show the improvements that Justin Geisinger has made like that in the 20 minutes that he has been there. And I think that proves itself tonight. I think FRA, they will get beat, but I think they're going to show a lot of Middle Tennessee that, hey, Division II AA isn't just going to be Lipscomb Academies for the taking.
Did you just do?
I did.
Okay.
Yes, I did.
That was very impressive.
It just goes to show just how quickly he's been there. And I said, I know Lipscomb Academy and CPA run that Division II AA region, but I really think FRA and Justin Geisinger is going to start really building something for the future and start making a name for themselves as well.
I got a little high school scoop for both you and Billy.
Okay, let's hear it.
Okay. The state of Georgia has just put together essentially a high school football Hall of Fame, and they have just announced their first class. Now, you think about some of the all-time greats that have ever played Georgia high school football. Take a guess whose name is on that list.
I think I'm cheating here, George, but Jeff Francoeur.
Yeah.
Oh, naturally. I would have guessed like Julio, but I think he was in Alabama, not Georgia.
Yeah.
Champ Bailey is one of those on that list. I didn't know any of this until last night when a buddy of mine alerted me to it. So I texted Jeff last night. He had been really nice about congratulating me when I went in the Tennessee Radio Hall of Fame. And so I wanted to do the same thing for him. Well, during the commercial break, before we brought you on, he called me. And the ceremony that they're going to do will be at the College Football Hall of Fame, which is in downtown Atlanta. So I want to take a moment and congratulate my buddy Jeff Francoeur, who a lot of you know as an Atlanta Brave and now as a TV color analyst. But in his days at Parkview High School, he was one hell of a defensive back and wide receiver, had a bunch of college scholarship offers, but eventually decided to go baseball.
Somehow that doesn't surprise me, George. I mean, when you're a professional athlete in any sport, there was a really good chance in high school that you were better than everybody else, even at your non-primary sport. I'm sure, those guys could probably dominate track and field or the discus throw or whatever it may be. I mean, they're just built differently. So pass along my congratulations as well, George, from a guy he has no idea exists.
You know what? I'll let you know that, Billy. As for broadcasters, we're not always great athletes.
Not always, George. But your golf swing, according to Jeff, needs some work.
Jeff, we'll stop right there. I don't think we need to go any farther. Zach, 6:00 tonight. Be there.
Yes, sir. I will. Hey, you have a safe travels tonight, and just enjoy your time, George.
Thank you. I'm excited. My uncle is celebrating in Little Rock his 90th birthday, and I think that's a wonderful achievement. Even better is the fact that he's got all his faculties. He's willing to give me pig suey Razorback. I hear it all the time.
Yeah. Well, I'll let you go with this. They're big Arkansas Razorback fans in Pittsburgh, so you can let them know that the demographic.
They're calling the Hogs.
They're calling the Hogs all the way in the 412. George, you have yourself a good night, buddy.
See you, Zach.
See ya.
Okay, we'll go to the break, and when we come back, it's stat of the day. And if they don't have a good one, I'll make up my own. Stick around. This is Main Street Media Television.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor-trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor-trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor-trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So, whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're going to have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee.
We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports cards, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards.
We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. It's time for Stat of the Day, powered by John English Vintage Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee. They specialize in antique and historical sports equipment, games, advertising, and other sport-related items. You can visit them in Shelbyville, open Tuesdays through Fridays from noon to 5 o'clock, and Saturdays from 10 a.m. to 5. Visit them online at johnenglishgradedcards.com. Also, Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. Call Eric at 615-490-7052 or visit rockcastlewealth.com for more information. And let's get to today's stat of the day. Presidential ceremonial pitches have been a long-standing tradition in Major League Baseball. Who was the first president to throw out a ceremonial first pitch?
There's several that have really enjoyed it. Nixon really got into it. I have cheated, not on purpose, but I ended up seeing the answer to this. It's William Howard Taft, I believe. Correct? Yeah. Put a little music behind it. Why not?
That's it.
1910. Now, I got one for you. You won't have been able to cheat. Billy, you hear the stat oftentimes about how important it is that you not start 0-2 in the National Football League.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yep.
President Taft knows that.
I'm sure he does.
Well, actually, come to think of it, he might not know. How many teams have ended up starting 0-2 and made it to the Super Bowl?
Wow. How many teams?
How many? Give me a number.
Wow. I'll go 16.
The answer, uno, dos, tres. 3.
Only 3?
Only 3 have ever started 0-2 and made it to the Super Bowl. One of those, the first one was the Dallas Cowboys in 93, and that was the year that Emmitt Smith had a 2-game holdout and backed Jerry Jones into so far of a corner that he couldn't do anything about it. Cowboys start 0-2. They're not getting anything done. Emmitt has held out, and all of a sudden, Jerry had to backtrack. They ended up going to the Super Bowl. That was a Troy Aikman team. There have been 2 more that have done it, and both of them are past the year 2000. I'd love to tell you who they are. I can't.
Well, that's okay. You tried, George. It's the effort.
I thought it was a good stat of the day.
That was a pretty. I thought it was way more than 3. Wow. That shocks me. That surprises me a little bit.
Now, is it time to hear from Jeff Pennington?
Well, first, it's time to hear about Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint.
We have reached the 5 o'clock hour.
Because we have reached the 5 o'clock hour. MTBJ combines state-of-the-art orthopedic service with a family atmosphere. Whether it's a sports injury, a sprained ankle, or a major joint replacement, Middle Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has the staff, training, and equipment needed to take care of any patient in any circumstance. Their mission is to provide high-quality, specialized orthopedic care in a compassionate manner to the people of Columbia and Middle Tennessee. Visit mtbj.net for more information. And now, George, it is time for Jeff Pennington.
Pennington joins us. Let's talk a little football, Jeff. We've got 3 great games in the SEC this weekend. Let's start with Penn State, a 3-point favorite at Auburn. What do you think?
I've become, ever since James Franklin went up to Penn State, I think I kind of became a pseudo Penn State fan, and just all the stuff that went down with Penn State, in the past I felt like that program got penalized when it had already been penalized. Internally, they got hurt so bad that I don't think they needed the NCAA. So I was really proud when Franklin went up there and what he's done with that program, to turn it around. And now it's kind of back to its, I wouldn't say it's all the way back to its glory days, but I mean, they've been in the national championship hunt, talk at least, in the playoff talks. They haven't gotten there, but, I'm a Franklin fan, so I think I'm going to go with my heart on this one because I don't really know. This Auburn seems to be way down right now. So it sounds like a sucker line. I always get nervous when something seems too obvious, maybe like Alabama, Texas last week. I mean, if I was forced to bet, I would have put a lot of money on Alabama. But so I think I'm going to go Penn State. Penn State -3 at Auburn.
Okay, we're going to see how that works out. I've got a theory on the one I'm about to lay on you. Texas A&M at home is a 5-point favorite over Miami. They've got to be just livid over the way they played against Appalachian State. First of all, at night, that Texas A&M crowd is wild. I've just got a feeling that they're going to come out and drop a hammer on Miami. What do you think?
I kind of think the same way. Texas A&M, I've always wanted to go to a game there. I forgot what it's called there.
Kyle Field.
Kyle Field. I mean, I love watching it on TV. I'm a big fan of college. One of the reasons I love college football, I love NFL, but I love college is the pageantry. I've been to Nebraska and Michigan State, just different places to see the pageantry. And I've always wanted to go to A&M. I think they're loyal. I think those fans show up even when they're 6-6. It's not like Tennessee fans calling ourselves out.
Calling out your own, huh?
I remember years where there was waiting lists for season tickets. And it turned into like, please come. So I don't know. Miami's like a Jekyll and Hyde team. I've seen them show up at games and not, but I think everybody's like underrating Appalachian State. I mean, the North Carolina game, they should have beat North Carolina. I mean, Appalachian State has got a real. I think they're a good team. I definitely think Texas A&M blew it, but I don't think Appalachian State's some rollover. I wouldn't want to play them, So I think they're going to be hungry. The crowd's going to be fired up, and I think they are going to lay it on Miami.
Yeah, let's see what happens because I think you and I agree on this one.
Either that, or they have to give back all the money.
Yeah, exactly. So the last one I think is a terrific football game. Mississippi State coming off a big road win at Arizona goes down to Baton Rouge. It's sort of a nighttime game. It's 5 p.m. State is a 2.5-point favorite over LSU. And it just seems to me there's a lot at stake. If Mississippi State wins, boy, they make a claim that at 3-0, they're pretty darn good. LSU, on the other hand, after, gagging the Florida State game, man, they need a win. What do you think happens down there?
I didn't get the chance to watch the Arizona Mississippi State game. I always kind of root for Mississippi State because they're kind of like that just forgotten about West team that you never really want to play. You know, they're always them in Arkansas. They kind of remind me of those teams that you kind of don't want to overlook them, but you always come out hurting, if you know what I mean. There's a lot of hitting, big boys. They run the ball. I still don't like the cowbell. Like I just my local bar at home is the Mississippi State alumni place. So when I go to watch my football, they even have apps now with cowbells. I'm like,
oh, I love it.
But you know, I talked to what's his name, Zach Pillar one day, because he owns the bar that I was talking about, and I asked him, you know, in college, what was the hardest place? Was Tennessee the hardest place to go? Because, you know, being a Tennessee fan, it's like Neyland Stadium's got to be the hardest place to go play. He's like, no, not really. He goes, by far the hardest place is Baton Rouge at night. He said it's a difficult environment to go into. The fans are rowdy. It's loud. So, you know, I think LSU. I actually think LSU wins this one pretty easily. I'm going to go LSU I love a good home dog at night. I mean, I took it with Kentucky. I took it the other night on Monday night. You know, I took the money line. Someone was arguing with me. I was like, you always take Monday night home dogs. I don't care. And so I'm going to play this like a Monday night home dog. I'm taking LSU in Baton Rouge. The fans are going to make a difference. I think it's good. It could be a close one, but I think LSU wins it.
Okay, you mentioned you've been to Nebraska and you've been to Michigan State. Have you been to LSU for a night game?
No, I have not. But
put that on your bucket list.
If Zach tells me that was the hardest stadium he's ever walked into or as a thing, I mean, there's a lot of big SEC stadiums, so I guess I overlooked that one.
I'll say this. I think when all the stadiums are at their best in the SEC, LSU at night, and that's a big part of it. Daytime, I don't think it's anywhere near, but you get them at night under the lights. I think that's the most intimidating place in the league. So you put that on your bucket list, okay?
Well, I mean, they're professional drinkers down there in Louisiana, right? So
absolutely.
They've got all day to get gamed up. You know, if it's too early, it's like, you know, they haven't had their crawfish boils and their etouffee, you know. So
there's no teetotaling going on down there.
Yeah, no. There's no.
By the way, where are you exactly?
I am in Orange Beach, Alabama, right on the line of Florida, Alabama. At my mother-in-law's condo down here.
It's beautiful, isn't it?
Oh, it's beautiful. It's going to be like low 80s, high 70s, and sunny every day for the next 4 days. So super excited.
Sounds rough. Listen, you enjoy your weekend. Take care. Appreciate it.
Go Balls.
That's Jeff Pennington from Pennington Distillery. We'll hear more about his company in just a moment. And stay tuned. We'll have more. This is Main Street Media Television.
Welcome to the Omni Nashville Hotel. Urban elegance with a vintage touch. Our 800-room hotel opened up in the fall of 2013 with 746 guest rooms and 54 suites.
At Sumner Funeral and Cremation, our mission is to serve families as our own, celebrate the life of their loved one, and help begin the healing process.
My whole family, including my wife and my mom and siblings, were very happy with the treatment that we received. I would highly recommend Sumner Funeral and Cremation.
We offer funeral, burial, cremations, and pre-planning services.
Sumner Funeral and Cremation. Traditional, affordable, dignified. SumnerFuneral.com.
I'm Bart Durham.
I was sworn in as a lawyer in 1963, and I've been working as a lawyer since then.
We're a firm that does exclusively personal injury, a lot of tractor trailer crashes. Insurance companies will open up their checkbooks when you force them to.
We have systems that work.
We get the most money for our clients in the shortest amount of time.
I'm Blair Durham. My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
For Dustin Timmons and Joey Donnelly, they welcome every opportunity to serve and satisfy their clients. Whether you are looking to build your dream home or renovate your current home, their team will ensure that every client and remodel is unique, luxurious, completed on time, and within budget. Contact them today to set an appointment for a free consultation or to view some of their completed projects by logging on to DonnellyTimmons.com.
Serving Williamson and surrounding counties, Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee offers comprehensive orthopedic care with 16 subspecialized physicians. Our practice provides high-tech care with a hometown touch. We offer physician clinics, physical and occupational therapy, advanced imaging, and surgical services, including interventional procedures. Call us at 615-791-2630. We're Bone and Joint Institute of Tennessee. High-tech care with a hometown touch.
The high school football season is here, and nobody handles Friday nights better than Main Street Media. Here's Zach Womble with details.
That's the name of the game here at Main Street Media and Main Street Preps. Is, you know, we've been doing this for a long time now, and I think you hit on it. We've got an army of reporters across all of Middle Tennessee. I think there's about 130 schools in the Middle Tennessee area, and we try to cover all of them. We cover about 11, 12 counties at this point. And those Friday night shows, it's, you know, we're gonna show that off. We're gonna showcase the talent that we have on the field with reporters across several mid-state games on the weekly basis. So, you know, whether you're in Williamson County, whether you're in Giles County or Murray County or Montgomery or Robertson or anywhere in between, we're gonna have you covered from 6 to 11.
Friday Night Live is presented by the Tennessee Highway Safety Office, where fans don't let fans drive drunk.
Welcome back into the George Plaster Show. It is now time for Plaster's Bets of the Weekend as we switch it up a little bit on a Friday afternoon. Of course, always powered by the great folks at Bart Durham Injury Law. They have aggressively protected the rights of a broad range of victims of car accidents and personal injury in both Tennessee and Kentucky. If you too have seen your life interrupted by an injury on a highway, in a hospital, at your workplace, or on unsafe property, you should let their attorneys do the work fighting for the full financial compensation that you need while you and your family focus on your complete recovery. Learn more about Bart Durham Injury Law by logging on to bartdurham.com. George, let's first take a look at some of your results.
Yeah.
We didn't get last night. Did you win?
Good. No.
Oh, my goodness. You lost again last night?
26-33. I am in a deep slump.
Wow.
So when we get to the picks, you can take these one of two ways. You can say, his picks suck. I'm not paying any attention. In fact, I'm going to go the other way. Or you could look at the bright side and say, George is due.
Oh, you are past due. Way past due.
You're telling me. Okay.
You ready to start, George?
Yeah, let's talk about them.
All right, let's get to the first selection of the weekend, and you are taking Georgia at South Carolina. South Carolina plus 25 to cover.
Yeah, let me tell you why I'm doing this. It could get me a win. If it doesn't, I'm going to blame it on Watson Brown, who yesterday suggested on the show that he thinks South Carolina plays this much tougher than that number. I happen to agree with him. Georgia and South Carolina hate each other. It is a bitter rivalry, and South Carolina will play with a ton of emotion. Is it good enough? I don't know, but I'm going with Spencer Rattler and the Gamecocks to play within 25, and I think it's going to work. And if it doesn't, Watson, I'll blame you on Monday.
Watson's going to catch the blame for that one. All right, George, number 2. You're taking Notre Dame minus 10.5, hosting California, even though they lost to Marshall last week.
Yeah. First of all, I think Notre Dame's going to come out like a powder keg tomorrow. They have been ripped to shreds nationally, locally, wherever. And the fact of it is, even though my buddy Peter Sermon is on the Cal staff, they're not that good. Notre Dame should win this by more than 10.5. If Marshall had not beaten Notre Dame, that line would be closer to 20 than the 10.5. Take Notre Dame. I think they're going to bounce back, and I think you're going to see a level of frustration boil over, and they're going to put a whooping on the old Cal Golden Bears.
George, let me ask you this. Why do we see the halves? Why do we see 10.5? Like what is it with that?
I don't know. It's sort of Vegas saying 10 is a number that hits a lot. So we'll do 10.5 and make it a little more difficult. You see that a lot of times with lines that are 7.5. A lot of games end up in a touchdown spread. 7.5 forces you to think.
Right. The rookie bettors, that puts them in a bind if you're.
Oh, it puts more than rookie bettors at a bind. It puts everybody at a bind.
Yeah, that's the tough part about it. Vegas usually wins. All right, number 3, George. You're taking the Aggies minus the 6.
And you heard it a little
Miami.
while ago with Jeff Pennington. A&M has been hearing all week about we suck. You know, can't score against Appalachian State, can't win at home. Well, this is a night game. This is a late night game, 8 o'clock at Kyle Field. Those people will be revved up. Yeah, Miami knows what they're walking into, but do they really? I don't think so.
And did you see Max Johnson's going to start at quarterback for A&M, the son of Brad Johnson?
Yeah, and I think, first of all, I can't figure him out. I saw him at LSU where he had some really good moments, and then I saw him at LSU where I wasn't all that impressed.
Yeah, he's been kind of a Jekyll and Hyde
He
type
has
guy.
been. He may give them the spark that they need right now.
Haynes King was not cutting it.
No.
I mean, that offense as a whole hasn't been cutting it.
No.
But they needed a change. And maybe you're right, George. Maybe he is the spark they need. Number 4, Cleveland minus 6.5 against the Jets. You're going out on a limb there.
Games at Cleveland.
Yep.
Okay. The Jets are awful. And Joe Flacco will start for week number 2. It has been a long time since Joe Flacco has done anything of any real note. What did they score against Baltimore? Was it 3 or 7?
It was 3. They didn't even
it was
score.
Single digits. They get nothing done on offense. Cleveland just wins this by more than a touchdown.
That's a very safe bet. I like it. I like it, George.
That's why it's up there.
Yeah. You're all about safe bets.
No, I'm all about winning.
Sure
Something,
you are.
and
Sure you
you're
are.
out there going, then why don't you?
Yeah, where's that winning?
I don't know. It's not that easy. If you think it is, come try this.
Last one here, Tampa Bay -2.5 versus New Orleans. This isn't as safe as Cleveland, I don't think, but
no,
the Buccaneers did look really good last week.
They surprised me with how good they did look. They apparently surprised Dallas as well. This is sort of a Jameis Winston Bowl.
Yes, it is.
A little bit here.
Yep. Going back to is that in New Orleans?
Yeah.
Okay.
First of all, New Orleans will have the crowd as a huge advantage to them. But Tampa looked so good. Brady looked so under control. Unless Jameis Winston has a massive game, I think Tampa wins by at least a field goal.
Yeah, that's an interesting line. Obviously, there's a lot of points going New Orleans' way because they are the home team, but I would hammer the Bucs there as well. I mean, Brady, he looks like he's rookie year Brady. It's ridiculous.
It is insane. The thing that is most amazing to me about Tom Brady is the arm strength.
Yeah, the arm, he's still got it.
You watch him at 45, he's still got the fastball.
He's still flinging it. I don't know what he is injecting into that arm, but I mean, it is unbelievable. He's 45 years old and he's still making throws that, you see rookies make. Guys that now he doesn't. The motion is always been the Brady motion. It's not Mahomes, it's not Herbert or Allen. It's his own way of getting it to the receiver, and it's still working.
He's still got a fastball. So those are the 5 picks that I'm going with. I came really close to putting Mississippi State up there, but the crowd at Tiger Stadium scares me.
Yeah, and LSU is playing with a lot of angriness right now, a lot of anger probably. Kelly has lit into him a couple times. I still don't know about LSU though. I know they're at home, but they've got a lot of issues. That Florida State game showed a lot to me, and I think a lot of other people. So I don't know. That's a tough game to pick.
It'll be a terrific game. It's a 5:00 game, weird start time, but late enough that the LSU people will be, shall we say, juiced up.
Yeah, I think 5:00 is like their prime time. I mean, they will be, maybe if it's 8:00, maybe some of them have already fallen asleep, but 5:00, they're ready and rolling to go. So
those are the 5 I've got. We'll take a final break on the show. And when we come back, a couple of parting notes that you need to know. This is Main Street Media Television. Tell me a little bit about your company.
So One Stop Realty has been around since 1974. We are your hometown brokerage. It is family owned by me. We have 30 agents that are waiting to help you with all your real estate needs. That counts as residential, commercial, and property management. We also will be getting into the auction business at the end of this month as well. We have listings that range from every price range that you can think of on the real estate market. I know Shelly Tucker has a new listing coming up in Gallatin. Heather Patton has one in Madison right around the corner here. I have one coming up myself. We have everything you need as far as real estate, and we have the expertise to help you out.
Beautiful. Give them a phone number.
Phone numbers for the office is 615-822-0750. You can find us on the web at www.onestoprealty.tn.com.
Thanks for getting involved with us.
George,
really appreciate this. Yeah, it's going to be fun.
I think so.
At WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics, we pride ourselves in providing access, innovation, and a patient experience second to none. Access to care and treatment when you need it. Innovation with medical-led cosmetics and various on-site technologies for full-service treatments with a customer experience that is calming, casual, and effective. Independently owned, providing medical, surgical, pediatric, and cosmetic dermatology and more. Visit wellskinmd.com to schedule your appointment today. WellSkin Dermatology and Aesthetics. Access to healthier skin.
This is attorney Bart Durham, and this is me. I'm Aaliyah. Keeping in good physical condition is really important to me. But when I had a wreck with a tractor trailer truck that hurt my legs so bad I couldn't work for almost a year, I knew I needed a lawyer that understood tractor trailer cases. So I called Bart. Bart gets millions of dollars for his clients every year.
At Bart Durham Injury Law, we've handled hundreds of tractor trailer cases.
My dad and I want to help. Give us a call at 615-242-9000.
This is Eric Berner with Rockcastle Wealth Advisors. I help people in the pursuit of making their money live as long as they do. People hire me because I use a customized, individualized, and personal approach for the person I'm working with. Everyone's situation is different. If you've lost a spouse or a parent and want to make sure your inheritance is utilized and does not just disappear, I can help with that. Call me at 615-235-1058 or email eric@rockcastlewealth.com.
Hey everyone, I'm John English. This is Keith Wallace, and we would like to welcome you to John English Antique Sports and Cards in Shelbyville, Tennessee.
We specialize in graded and ungraded sports and non-sports card, vintage wax boxes, and unopened cases. We have a large selection of PSA graded cards. We also specialize in old sports collectibles, baseball, football, basketball, golf, and tennis. You can find it all at John English Antique Sports and Cards.
We are happy to be associated with Nashville's greatest sports antique, George Plaster.
Okay, couple of things to close the week out on. Number one, we're going to have a great next week of coverage. Tennessee and Florida get together for one of the most anticipated University of Tennessee football games in a long, long time, and we're going to treat it that way. We'll also have the postmortems from the Bills and the Titans. Good luck to the Titans as they try to beat what I think right now may be the best team in the AFC. Also next week, I am going to unload all the information about the Plaster and Friends Celebrity Bowling Night. This got started a year ago, and while I've done a lot of charity events over the years, I don't know that I've ever been prouder of one than the way this thing turned out. We had 64 foursomes that paid to be a part of this, and we hooked them up with 64 sports personalities in the area, and it was absolutely incredible fun. Billy, I know you watched me kind of put that thing together. You weren't able to be there, but it was incredible fun, and I'm looking forward to being able to announce all of the stuff that needs to get announced.
Looking forward to it, George. I mean, that was a huge turnout last year. You know, I had a lot of rave reviews about it from, you know, your Vandy people, you know, old friends from broadcasting and all kinds of walks of the earth of types of people there. So looking forward to actually being there this year, George, and actually seeing it unfold. And you know, there's some issues with space, but at the bowling alley last time, but I'm sure, I'm sure they'll pack it again.
Oh, there weren't any issues with space. We used every last inch of that facility, and we'll go back to it because they did an incredible job. I'm talking about the folks at Strike and Spare in Hermitage. So I guess I've let that little cat out of the bag. We'll announce the date. We'll again announce the site, and we will announce the charities that will benefit from it. Here's what I'm going to need from you all. If you enjoy our show, when I put all of this info out there next week, I want you to get involved. it is a massive undertaking to get 64 foursomes into this. And so I can use every last piece of help that I can get. And I want a lot of you who enjoy this show to get involved. It'll be a night you'll never forget. It's a blast. It really is. Couple of last things. Number one, Friday Night Live, the high school show, will begin tonight at 6 p.m. So roughly, 30 minutes from now, 6 p.m. that they'll do that. And I want to pass on, before I get out of here, happy birthday wishes to my Uncle George in Little Rock, turning 90. What a terrific honor. What a great man. And I'm really proud of him, proud for him. 90 and still going strong.
That's awesome. That's awesome, George. I heard he's sharp as a tack, too.
He is indeed. He's a big Arkansas Razorback fan.
Woo pig.
Yeah. Oh, he'll call the Hogs. No doubt about it. Listen, all of you have a great weekend. We'll do this again Monday at 4 p.m. For Billy Derrick, George Plaster, this is Main Street Media Television.